Hey, what's up, everybody? We're live. I thought I'd do something different this morning to start out. By the way, this is a soda stream. It's hands down the best purchase I've ever made. Highly recommend. What I was going to do, let's see here. Let's do this. Let me present slides. No, I want to share my screen. Share screen. What? I got some sort of Mac error. Open system settings. Wonderful. Man, I'll do that later. Maybe it'll just work. What are the odds? Let's see here. Got an edge tab. This one right here. Does this work? Did that work? I think it worked. Yeah. Okay. Here we are. All right, y'all. This is the new Bing chat. Let's get started. I just got access. Oh, hey, what's up, Bing? Let's see. I'm on the VS Code live stream. Live stream. How do you spell that? I'm hosting. Say hello and welcome the chat to the stream. I'm here to help you with any questions or queries you may have during the stream. Oh, you can ask Bing your questions. I can also tell you jokes, stories, facts, and more. Just type in the chat box and I'll respond. I hope you enjoy the stream and learn something new about VS Code. Okay, tell me some facts about VS Code. VS Code facts. Cross-platform, yes. Built with web technologies, yes. Yes. Part of Visual Studio. I guess technically, right? It's the brand. Anyway, have y'all tried this? Chat, have you signed up for the Bing preview or whatever it is? I think it's just go to bing.com/new. How about how up to date are the facts? Oh, let's ask it. How up to date are those facts? Searching for VS Code facts date. It's not quite what we asked, is it? The most recent date I could find them as January 2023. Some of the facts may be older depending on their published. You can always check the dates of web pages I referenced by clicking on their links. I don't know how I feel about the smiley at the end. Tell me a story about compiler errors in the story in the style of a Greek myth. All right, hold on. Let's do that. Here we go. Tell me a story. I can't figure out how to copy paste on a StreamYard. I tried. About compile errors in the style of a Greek myth. Long ago, there's a talented programmer named Jason who dreamed of creating the most perfect and flawless software in the world. He spent many days and nights coding and debugging his masterpiece using the best tools and languages he could find. He was confident that his software would impress everyone and make him famous. It's still going. How long is this story? I can't read all this. I feel like I should paste. Look, I'm just going to paste. I should just paste this in the chat. VS Code with Bing integration, right? Well, Copilot is there. Copilot. What's up, John? Hey, Anton. Narnia expert. What do you want me to like paste this in, and then you can just like. It's still going. I mean, it's a whole story. So maybe you want to get it published or something. You want to put it in the chat? Should have been a short. Exactly. Thank you, Elias. I should have been more specific. Please don't make it too long. Yeah, check that out. You can get signed up on the beta or the preview or what have you. Also, I don't know if y'all are Edge users, but Edge has a new design. If you check out Canary, it's got real rounded corners and rounded tabs. I like it a lot. You should check it out. I feel like I want to copy all this and paste it into the chat, but there's no easy way to do that. There should be a copy button, feature request, Microsoft. Can I? Oh, beat me to it. All right, here it comes. It's a huge freaking chat. Wait. Is it gonna? Oh, it cuts it off. The chat cuts it off, y'all. I can't put it all in. All right, enough Bing shenanigans. It's a lot of fun. I actually like it quite a bit. This morning, I was looking for interesting facts about Ohio. I won't tell you why. And it gave me this weird law. So in Ohio, apparently it's illegal to hunt whales on Sundays, which is great because Ohio is like 500 miles from the nearest ocean, right? There's no whales anywhere near Ohio. And then I just said, give me more. So give me more crazy laws. And it just did that, right? No clicking through to web pages. I kind of liked it. Maybe there's something here. Okay. Stop sharing. Stop screen. Enough of this. We have a guest who's patiently waiting in the wings. Hey, y'all. What's up? Welcome. It's Thursday. It's February the 16th. I hope that you had a wonderful Valentine's Day or not, if you don't celebrate. We don't celebrate in this house. No days of compelled feelings in the Holland house. And we don't need artificial dumbness. I'm stupid enough myself. I feel you, Anton. I'm with you. All right. Let's kick it off with a throwback TikTok because it is Thursday, and we'll jump right into our live stream. Producer, go ahead. Let's do that.
Have you ever just wanted to download just one file from a repository, but noticed that right-clicking and saving embeds a lot of HTML? There is a way to do it. So what you need to do is click on the file that you want to download. So let's say that it's program.cs for us. And right over here, click on raw, which will bring up a text version of it. And at this point, you can right-click and save as to download your file. Now I'll rename it so it's not a text file anymore. And then just drag the file into my code editor. Another option that you have is to click on this icon here that says copy raw contents and paste that into a blank file in your code editor. And that's it.
There you go. If you need one file from GitHub, if you don't know, now you know. All right. We have a return guest, y'all. This is like repeat hosts on SNL, Saturday Night Live. I don't know if that's ubiquitous. Do you watch SNL all over the world, or is that strictly an American thing? It's probably strictly an American thing. I don't even know if it's that good anymore. It used to be, but anyway, the point is we have a repeat guest who's back with us to talk about COBOL and RPGLE. Yes, you heard that right. Don't adjust your speakers. We're going to talk about COBOL today in VS Code. Allan, not even in the US. SNL. Yeah, good point. So yeah, it's Liam. Y'all, Liam is back with us. We're super excited to have Liam Allan. And as we do, we've made him his own special introductory video. Roll it.
Some of the most critical applications in the world are written in COBOL and RPGLE. Without them, many tasks, such as swiping a credit card or buying a plane ticket, would suddenly stop. Many of these applications, across a variety of industries, run on the IBM I operating system. Visual Studio Code can be used for developing in traditional languages like COBOL and RPGLE on IBM I, just like any other platform. We are going to show users how easy Visual Studio Code makes it to learn and use these technologies with the language integration, debugging, and sandbox mode.
All right. I changed my audio. Is it still on? Can y'all still hear me? Give me thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Can we bring Liam on the stream? Can you hear that? There we go. You can hear me. All right.
That video was amazing.
Did you like that?
I couldn't believe what I just witnessed. Seriously, no budget could ever create such good content. That was
we put actual money into that. Can you believe that? Like, that was made just for you.
wow. That is very sweet. I feel blessed.
It's like the video they roll before, like the nominees for best actress in a film, then they roll it.
Well, as long as it isn't best nominee, a nominee for best extension, because this has got no chance.
What? We should do that. Extension awards. But there's so many great ones.
I know, that's the problem, isn't it, really? That's one of the nice things about the ecosystem is there's so much choice.
Yeah, everybody's got a different favorite one. And a lot of times people's favorite extension does just something really simple. Like my favorite extension is tab out. All it does is let you tab out of brackets and braces. That's it.
Well, I'm still happy with Thunder Client, which is a huge extension, but it's so powerful.
What a freaking great extension. And one of the best UIs I think I've seen created inside of VS Code, which is not easy to do. Just beautiful. So many great extensions. Yeah, we love them all. All right, Liam, but you have a huge fan base of people that are doing COBOL and RPGLE out there day to day. And they can use VS Code because of your work.
Some of my work, yeah. It's open source. It's everybody's work, you know. We have lots of contributors and lots of people I'm very grateful for and for contributing. But yeah, I mean, VS Code for like day-to-day development for these these languages, which is really exciting to me. You know, I love bringing the new and making everything seem like it's just another day, and standardizing on an IDE is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, just being able to use VS Code is a beautiful thing. It's one of my favorite things. I may be kind of biased. All right, Liam. Well, I guess show us what you got. And I don't know much about this, so I don't know if people weren't using VS Code, I don't know what they would be doing instead.
Okay,
so maybe we could start there.
Sure. Well, yeah. Okay. Before I show anything, yeah, we could start there. Well, I'm already in VS Code, as you know, and you can see down here in the panel, I'm already on this this icon. This is the IBMI icon, right? This is the extension itself that kind of provides all of the work to access the IBMI, to be able to write code and so on and so forth. But it also provides the terminals view, so I can actually open an old 5250 right here inside of VS Code, which is strange. But you mentioned about how people used to write code. Okay, and I'll sign into this system. Believe it or not, my user is called Linux, and this is what it looks like. This is the IBMI, and the way that people used to write code is with a tool called PDM, Program Development Manager. And this is it. I'm browsing at the moment in this green screen source members that contain source code. So if I tab down to a file that I want to look at and do a 5, you can see at the top here, I've got 5 to edit, 5 to display, 2 to edit. If I do a 5, you can see that now I'm actually looking and browsing at code on this system, right? This is the way that I wish I actually could say this is the way that people used to do it, but people still do this today.
Can you change the theme? Can you at least change the theme? Can you change the font?
You can change the font, but not inside. Actually, I think if you change the settings and you look at the terminal font, I think it will respect the font that you define inside of VS Code.
In VS Code, but in the traditional emulator, can you do that? It's an emulator, right? I assume.
Yeah, it is. I don't think it's actually not an emulator. This is actually the VS Code terminal.
It's a term. Okay, so it's a term. It's like SSHing into, or would that be?
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's SSHing into the IBMI, and then there is a program that runs in the kind of Linux environment. It's called Pace, that allows us to connect to the 5250 environment through SSH. That's what it's doing.
So true story here. When I got out of college, it was 2001, which was a bad time to look for a job in tech. And the only job that I could get was upgrading computers from Windows 98 to Windows 2000 at a a sausage processing plant here in the United States. I will leave the brand out of this. I think I told this story last time, but inside the factory floor, they had terminals.
Yeah.
And they were using this, right? They had like these input screens. I don't know what they were inputting into this system, but they were just like, I don't even know how to describe them. They're not computers.
Yeah, they're probably dumb terminals. Something like that. And they have like custom displays where they can input names and data from
exactly. Yeah.
from the floor.
And it was all keyboard based. And then we swapped it all out for this like new system, and it had a mouse, and they were so mad.
Yeah, everybody's mad. When they move away from the green screen, everybody's mad.
Yeah.
Common scenario.
No, Anton, was it Clements? No, I don't think Anton, I don't know that we have Clements here. I've not heard of that. It was not. Clements is off the hook.
Yeah, so this is the old way, the new way. Yeah, I know, that's true. Why are we looking at this anyway? Yeah, you're right. So
thank you, man.
So more of the story is that now to do development and compiling code and calling programs, you don't need to use 5250. You don't need any of that. We've got VS Code now, right? And so in the same manner, there is a view over here called the object browser. And this allows me to look at, programs and source code on the operating system. And so I have a library that's kind of a place, like a folder where we store objects. And inside of it, I have two kind of subfolders, which are called source files. And inside of them, I have COBOL, some COBOL examples, and some RPG ones. So I'll open up a very simple COBOL example, right? It takes a minute. This is kind of a slow system that I have to use, so it's kind of unfortunate. But now what's happening is it's reaching out to the server, grabbing the source code and showing it inside of the IDE. Now we have COBOL, right? Which is really cool. And of course, if I pull the outline view up, and I have it over here on the right, because that's where I like the outline view, then we get the traditional outline view for COBOL inside of VS Code, which is really cool.
So those are your methods, properties. I don't know if COBOL has methods and properties.
They have different. Right? They have different names for them, but they're practically the same thing. Okay. Yes. And so from here you can do your normal development, right? And so, for example, I can, if I change this program ID to just say hello and save it. And then I can take an option. There's actually a shortcut up here. It's like a file. This one up here, I can use the keyboard shortcut. And I choose that. There's an option on here to create the COBOL program. And if I run that, it's going to show me the command that it's going to use to build it. And I can say enter. And what's it doing? You can't really see it, but down here, the output is spinning.
It's running. It's
running. The build is running. And there you go. It ran. So it said the action for this object, code for I test /example1, that's the path to the object, was successful. So it actually did build and it compiled successfully. And I know that because, well, you can see here the problems view is showing me issues in the actual extension itself, which is really cool. So now if I change it back to the correct extension ID, program ID, for example, and recompile it, you can see I'll get the success message, the problem goes away, and it works just as you would expect, which is really cool. And that's just the basics of it. Because the next part is, well, everybody wants to, we can write COBOL, and that's one thing. But the next big thing is debugging it, right? Everybody wants to debug some code. Well, guess what? I'm actually able to put breakpoints on my COBOL right here, for example. And then there's a little button up here. So because this is on the server, right? And usually when you debug in VS Code, you create a launch configuration. Well, I don't have a workspace open because I'm just developing on the server, which is, is fairly normal for IBM I and even mainframe IBM Z, fairly normal. And so this little debug button up here, what it does is it asks you what program or what command you want to use to debug the program. So I want it to call that program. And then it's just starting a debug session up in the background with the correct data in order to start a debugging session. Then it takes a second first time around, but give it a second. You can see over here, actually, that the debugger is kind of connecting to the debug service, which is running on the server. Fingers crossed it doesn't take all day because I didn't pre-test this morning. Oh, there we go.
So wait a minute. Let me get this straight. So you have to the program has to compile first, right?
Yes, so that's what we did. The very first thing, we ran that little button up here that builds the program on the server.
Okay, and then I guess the IBMI has a debug protocol.
Exactly.
Kind of like Chrome does, where it's like on port whatever, and you can attach to it.
Exactly. So there is a new debug service that's running on IBMI that it uses the debug adapter protocol to connect to it remotely, and that's how it's debugging programs.
Is that new for the IBMI, or has it always had that?
It's had remote debugging in Eclipse, and it also has a system debugger that you can get in a different way. But this debugging just came out a week ago.
Wow. So you have been able to do step-by-step debugging in a terminal.
Yes.
But now you can do it in Visual Studio Code, which was not possible before.
Exactly. That's amazing. Huge. I've been waiting years for this. So
no kidding. So what did you do before in VS Code? Do you have like the equivalent of console write line?
There is a way, yeah, you can print F and you can display and you can see the output in the terminal. But now we don't need to do that, which is really nice because we can set a breakpoint, hit the little play button, and we're in, just like you'd expect. So,
very nice.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You can inspect. Oh yeah, I see. You've got your call stack over there. You've got the variables. You got everything.
Yeah,
you can do watches.
It's really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step here, and it's actually going to fail because I didn't pass in a parameter. Now I'm not going to talk to you too much about what code, how this works, but this procedure division using base up here, that's a structure, right? That is the parameter. So I need to pass in a string. And I know it's a string. Pick x6, that's a character string, right? So what I'm going to do is say debug, pass in a parameter, say hello, for example. Give it a second. And that's a command that's being called on the server. But now, if I step and I look at base, I can see empno is hello. That's what I passed in via the command line, which is really cool. Anyway, debugging. Love it.
Very nice. I think this URL is misspelled. John Smith was asking what extension this is. And then Anton's doing unpaid work here in the chat, helping out.
Code for Anton is always helping. But yeah, this is called Code for IBMI. It's in the marketplace. You can search for it. Although I do recommend if you're gonna do this, there is an extension pack specifically for IBMI development. So if I search IBMI, one word, and I have to kind of scroll for it, but it's called, where is it? Oh, IBMI development pack. I've got it disabled. So that's the pack that has kind of all the necessities you need to do debugging and have the database tools. And
okay, so it's got like this. Who put this? You put this together. So this is kind of like your recommended set of extensions for people doing IBMI.
Exactly. Yep. So there's the base in there. There's the walkthroughs. Again, the walkthroughs, we'll talk about those in a minute. That's a great VS Code feature. The language tools, some notebook support, COBOL support, database support, so on and so forth. There's lots of different stuff.
So Liam, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to the debugger for a second. Does it do log points? I find those to be so useful.
That's a good question. I haven't tested it, so why don't we test it together?
Let's do. This would be awesome.
So let's do an edit breakpoint here and say log message, and it says message to log when a breakpoint is hit. Expressions within that are interpolated. So let's say hello world. The basics, and I actually am going to turn off tracing because I have tracing turned on for the debugger at the moment. So I'm going to turn it off, and let's call it again. Let's see what it does in the debug console. Pull it up. I'm guessing not.
Yeah, it would be in the debug console.
It would, yeah. I'm guessing not.
Oh,
well, I hope someone makes.
Cool, though, wouldn't it?
It would. I hope someone makes an issue, to be honest, and we can go fix it. So, yeah. I mean, it really did come out a week ago, and I'm just excited we can get this, to be honest.
That's amazing. I mean, I remember when the debugger came out, Visual Studio Code for I think it was React Native, and it was like, oh my gosh, amazing. Thank you so much.
It's
Someone loves me.
I mean, people in IBM have obviously had a debugger for a long time, but people that were using VS Code to write and compile can now do write, compile, and debug of their COBOL and their RPG. And believe it or not, there's still tons of people doing it. So of course I, want everybody to have the best tools on the planet. So yeah, it's really
cool. So Nightman says, I haven't touched COBOL since 1998. Where were you in 1998,
Liam? Probably in a crib.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I was in my first year of college.
Yeah, I was not. I was not in my first year of college.
Nightman, you and I are in the same boat. Death by demo. What are you talking about? Allan, demo's going great.
Death by demo. Yeah, the log message. I got to get that fixed now. Really.
We had to try it because if it worked, we could have claimed victory, walked away.
So in something that, I really love about writing code and what makes kind of writing COBOL and RPG easy is the fact that we get the language tools now. And so, I can see in the content assist the variables that I have access to right there in line as I write code. And it's really quite nice, and it's fast and it's very beautiful. And there's one specific feature that I really love to show off. It's actually relatively new, and it's for the RPG language tools. I haven't got it working for COBOL yet, but like in C, you have to have prototypes to kind of like system APIs, and that's where header files come from. And RPG has a similar concept, right? So if I want to use printf, for example, I'd need to define a prototype for it. Well, I don't need to do prototypes anymore because I can just say printf, and on the content assist, it's saying auto import, right? Which is quite neat. So if I select that, it actually creates the prototype automatically for you, which is not something you usually see when you're writing RPG.
Well, I don't know that I usually see that anywhere. I mean,
you would if you're like writing like a TypeScript and you try and reference a function that's in a different file, like an export function, it will
bring it in for you. Okay, so it's the same thing. I got you.
It's exactly the same thing, yeah, but except it's for like this legacy language, and of course we do it for more than just printf. There's like get environment variable, put environment variable, mem copy. We can create the prototypes for most of the system APIs, which is really cool. Anyway, the language tools are growing in strength for this platform, and it's really nice to see.
That's pretty rad. So go back to your example file because I like the outline view on that one. So I didn't know this until last week, but in the command palette, if you open the command palette and you take the caret out, like backspace, just do an @ sign. It lists the outline, which I knew about this. But what I did not know is that if you put a colon after this, it should group them into like classes, fields, files, functions, methods.
Wow, that is beautiful. I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that either. And it gets better. So do this. Take out the colon and the @ sign and type TERM. TERM. And no matching results. Now press space. It lists all your terminals, and you can open new terminals from y'all got to check out the command palette. It does all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh, that is nice. Usually what I would do for like finding just like what you did, the @ symbol to do that, there's a shortcut for it. I think it's control, not control O, it's control, not P, control, not I. There's a shortcut.
There is a binding. I just don't know what it is.
Oh, there it is. Command Shift O. That's
Command Shift O. Very nice.
I love it. It's really nice. And of course, you can also do it from the path of the file too.
Yeah, the breadcrumbs work. Yeah, everything just lights up. That's so nice.
Oh my God. It is gorgeous. It is so pretty.
Man.
And it works for COBOL.
Yeah. So let me ask you though, do people who really like the terminal, like I don't chat, you tell me, do people really like the terminal and are resistant to these sorts of tools, or are people sort of desperate for a better developer experience with this stuff? I don't know. I'm curious as to what, like, because I know that when people learn a tool, right? If you learn Vim, you're not very likely to ever switch out of that tool, right? You're comfortable there. And I understand that. That's totally understandable. So I'm curious if people have, please get me out of the terminal. Meg really wants out. Please get me out. We're doing it. We got you. Preference is developer
experience.
Yeah. Terminal.
I love a good developer experience.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way. I mean, you got to spend all day in the thing. Other than your light theme, which somebody.
Oh, come on.
My
light theme is fine. All right. GitHub Dark then.
Said I can't. My eyes are burning. I cannot watch. Y'all, I feel like it's a little overdramatic. It's just a light editor theme. And by the way, there's no scientific reason why you should use a dark theme over a light theme. It's not better for your eyes. Just saying. It does make you look cooler. What theme is this?
This is GitHub Dark. It's my favorite dark theme.
Oh, I use the dark dimmed.
Oh, now we're talking. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, you like that? Slightly muted. Very nice.
Love it.
Lovely, lovely.
Very, very nice indeed.
Diacron said, I grew up in the terminal, so I use it even when I know that I shouldn't use it. It's okay.
That's a fine. You're allowed to.
All right, Liam.
So there's one other really cool thing I want to show you as well. Something that we're kind of working on in the background, but I need to open my browser up. I need to swap windows for it to go over there. I hope that's okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a new present here. Go to the window. And so this is not really available yet. It's something that I'm working on and someone else is working on. Like, we're working on it, but the idea is that if you want to try writing or using IBMI, then there's an easy way you can do it now, or there will be. So you put in an email address, and we don't actually do anything with the email address. We don't send it anywhere. It's just like a spam filter. So I could literally put in nothing@me.com and it will do something. And it's doing something in the background, but it's going to tell you, you've got a user profile created on an IBMI now, right? You have one, but you don't have to worry about a password or a username. There are two buttons you can press. You can say open in CodeSpaces or open in Visual Studio Code locally. So you have two ways of connecting to a remote system automatically.
Wait, so you're on the remote system and this page shows up. Is that correct?
It will be like that. Yeah. You go to a website, you put in an email, and it will say, how do you want to connect to this IBMI? You can do it.
I got you. Okay. So two options.
Visual Studio Code. Yep. Now, of course, Burke, we're really cool, mate. So what we're going to do is we're going to do CodeSpaces, right?
Well, one of us is cool. It's not me. We'll let people decide who that is.
I click the button and it wants to ask you about the code space you need to spin up, right? Because it can't just spin one up. And you can just leave all the defaults, right? You're supposed to, really. That's the way we've intended it to work. But you click create code space. This part takes a second, as you know.
So just to recap what's about to happen here, we're going to write COBOL in a web browser connected to an IBM Series I somewhere out there.
Yep. Just give it a second. It takes a minute to kind of get started up. We both know how CodeSpaces can be.
2023, y'all. Yeah, that the first run is always where all the work gets done. Subsequent ones are really fast.
And the cool part about the CodeSpace is it's saved to your GitHub account, so you can just connect to it again and reconnect to the system.
Man, that's crazy. You just jump in and out of projects. Y'all, CodeSpaces is free, by the way, for everybody. You get like 30, 60 hours a month or something like that. There's no reason not to use it. And if you go over, you don't get charged. You just can't access your CodeSpaces until the next month.
So as you can see, thanks for trying the code for IBMI Sandbox. You're using the system at your own risk. Don't give anything, because it's a public system, effectively. But now you're connected, no username, no password. You don't have to worry about it. We've got you covered. And I'll zoom in a tad. Of course, we like to have it nice and zoomed in. But let's go ahead. And what I'm going to do.
So you automatically install the extension.
Yep. Got all the.
Is that a pre-build? Is this a pre-build?
It's not. It's simpler than a pre-build. It's just a dev container. So,
okay.
Yeah,
so I got it. So you just throw one in there. Yep. And include the extension. Wow, that's really nice.
Very, very simple, but it is gorgeous. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's create a new source file. This is a folder where we can keep our sources. COBOL source. That's kind of the standard name for a COBOL source, and we'll just call it hello.text. Oh no, not .text. .CBLLE. That's the standard COBOL kind of extension. And I know it worked because the you can see the rulers showed up.
Yeah, you got a lot of guides up there. I'm like, is that an artifact or no? You need that?
You don't need it, but it will help as you write COBOL, because generally in the version of COBOL in the system, you don't use the first X columns. You can see here, if I tab over this set of columns here, you don't tend to use. That's kind of a comment. That's a comment column, so I can type comment now. As you can see. Now, don't expect me to actually write any COBOL on stream, because we could be here for an eternity. But what I am going to do is bring over an example from the one that we just saw, because that will really save us some time. But so again, we're in a code space right now. That's really the crazy thing. And let me bring over this COBOL example. Paste it in, save it, right? So just like you would expect inside of VS Code, and yes, it is a light theme. That's the default, I guess. There is a question about the standard COBOL extension. Yes, the .cb is a standard COBOL extension, but on IBMI, CBLLE is the COBOL extension, and there is a reason for that. It's because of the way that the compiler is. It's called a COBOL ILE compiler. So it's CBLLE, COBOL LE, basically. Long story short. Anyway, we can compile this now. So if you can see I can run my little compile action up here. Create bound COBOL program. It's going to run it. It did fail, and I know why. It's because we tried to use embedded SQL, but there's no actual embedded SQL on this system. So I need to change the compile. This is kind of technical now, but I could do the same with RPG and it'd be quicker, but it's not as fun. So if I go to my actions and say, I need to copy this command right here, cancel. Or I could have just duplicated it actually, but that's okay. New action. Create SQL COBOL, and this is SQL COBOL because it has embedded SQL inside of it right there. And I'll just change this to say create SQL CBLI, and all the rest is okay. It's going to be for CBBLE. Save. Compile. It didn't show up. What did I do wrong? I wonder. Let me see. Actions. Oh, come on. This should be easy. Oh, I wasn't prepared for a good demo like this. Create SQL COBOL. I changed the extension as wrong. So CBLLE, save, close. Now.
Naming things is hard.
Yeah. Now create SQL COBOL. And now you can see it compiled on the server. And it was fast. Like, it was quick. We didn't waste any time. You can see here, I got the error right back from the compiler. The module name, hello, does not match the program ID, example 1. And then, of course, the outline view works too. So if I focus on the outline view, it's in the Explorer by default, and I don't like it there. So I'm going to bring it over here where I do like it. And now we have COBOL compiling in a GitHub code space, which is really cool.
That is... I mean, I don't know what to say here, Liam. We're doing COBOL in the browser. I mean, I know it's not COBOL in the browser, but it's COBOL in the browser.
It's COBOL in the browser, yeah. And I will say I'm using Safari, so things in code spaces don't tend to work like they should. If you use Chrome, which obviously is what, Chromium is what VS Code is based on, then the terminal usually works. But you can see Safari doesn't play very well. with the terminal here, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I've noticed some, because I use Safari on occasion as well, just because on a Mac, y'all, Safari tends to be a really fast browser because Apple makes the Mac, so they make the browser. But I do find just a lot of sites where it just like doesn't work at all. Like,
yeah,
what?
you're right. There are some issues, but it's convenient for like demos because it doesn't have like any of my credentials on it or anything like that. So I use it for demos.
Yeah, I use it for personal, like if I've got some of my passwords for my iPhone, but if I'm doing actual work, I'm an Edge.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the CodeSpace, and what's nice about it is it, as you said, it's free. For CodeSpaces are free for everybody for 60 hours a month, right? And so I don't care what you learn something, right? I just can't believe that great service is available. This is really cool. Yeah, and of course, we also provide, because you're in the browser, because you're in a CodeSpace and you're already connected, we do provide like example databases and stuff. So, there's a books file here and I can actually query that table. So for example, in the database browser, if I add my Sandbox library, which is called Sandbox 23, it's in BBX23, and I expand that and I expand the tables, I can see I have books, and I can see that I don't think there's any data in there. Oh, there is data in there actually, look at that. So I'm actually able to query the database from my CodeSpace as well, which is kind of neat. I've never tested that before, but
that's pretty rad.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Can you debug? I mean, that should work too. Everything should work.
Everything should work. I don't think the debugger works on this system because the stuff that's required on the server is not on this server yet. So somebody.
Oh, I got that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In theory, debugging should work because really, a CodeSpace is just a browser interface with a container in the background. So you really are running locally. You're just running locally in the cloud. Yep. That doesn't make sense.
And what's really nice here is that if you try and debug, but you don't have the requirements, a little message shows up in it and it asks, do you want to see the walkthrough to know how to do the setup? Well, you click the button and then you get the inline tutorial on how to go and configure
very nice. It. You got a welcome page. Use the welcome page framework. Do we have framework?
Yeah, it is basically. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Hey, Doug, can you take the music off? I think the music is just too loud for chat. I don't know what's going on there. Like Liam and I can barely hear it. Can you hear it, Liam?
I can't hear any music.
Yeah. So we'll pull that. I don't think the music is gonna work for the stream. We tried. We're trying to make it fun, Liam. Okay, y'all. Let's do this. I'm gonna present. Producer, can you throw up the link that we've got for Liam? I'm gonna share a tab. So this, y'all, there's a whole docs for the extension and how to use it and everything. So not only do you get the extensions, it's all documented. This link goes here. You can walk through, tells you how to do all of these things. And that's awesome. I mean, that's a great user experience, Liam.
I love a good user experience, bud.
Okay, it's time for our lightning round. And here's the thing. I was going to ask Bing to give you the questions for the lightning round. But I did it while you were doing some of your demo just to see what it would send back. And I don't know. I don't know that I want to tread into that territory. So I'm a little nervous. All right, so we'll just do it. We'll do it live. So let me stop. All right, stop sharing my screen. Stop screen. All right, Liam, lightning round. Are you ready?
Sure. I'm not even sure what to expect, but let's do it.
That's the best part. Light theme or dark theme?
Oh, light theme.
False. That is incorrect.
True.
Thank you. Good answer. Tabs or spaces?
Spaces.
How many?
2.
Yes, that is the correct answer.
That's the only answer.
ands or ors in logical statements?
Depends.
Both.
Both, yeah.
I agree with you. Careful here, Liam, with this next one, okay? I don't want either of us to lose our jobs.
Okay.
Ternaries. Sometimes or not once, never ever.
Sometimes.
That is also the correct answer.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank you so very much, chat, for being here. Thank you, Liam.
Thank you for having me. All
right. We enjoyed it. That is a crazy, great developer experience. Wait, pull Liam back. Liam's still here. That's a great developer experience for IBM Series I folks. And chat, thank you for being here. And please give Liam a thanks. Download that extension pack if you are doing IBM Series I development. Or am I saying that right? Am I just saying words that I don't know? Is that right?
I'll say it. It's just IBMI. It's even shorter.
IBMI. Okay. Yeah, there's no series. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right. Thank you so much, Liam. Y'all, we will see you. Oh, we will not be streaming next week because the whole team is out essentially on that day. So we won't be here that day, but we will be back. Well, maybe we'll do like a recording or something next week, or I don't know what we'll do. We'll do something for you. And then we'll be back the week following. So AS400. I said it now. Thank you so much, chat. We'll see you next time. Have a great weekend.